What's up, everybody? Kyle, the main event McGee here, back again, and we are going to be doing things a little bit differently on this channel. It's not going to be purely MMA and fitness based going forward. There's going to be some pro wrestling content, occasionally some health and fitness, a lot of gaming videos, and some reaction videos and lifestyle vlogs. I'm sure you all can see Penny in the background. But right now, we're going to be taking a little bit of a deep dive reaction into what premiered 2 hours ago, the WWE 2K22 gameplay deep dive. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. Very excited to see this.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Lionel Jinx. I am the creative director of the WWE 2K franchise. And this time I'm not alone, y'all. I've got my homie with me. She is going to be with me along this journey, this ride. Christina, please introduce yourself.
Hey, y'all. I am Christina DM Fam, art producer on WWE 2K22, and welcome to the inaugural episode of Ringside Report, brought to y'all by the teams at 2K and Visual Concepts.
We're here to provide regular updates and deep dives into the many areas and features of WWE 2K22.
And this year, we're introducing
it actually looks good so far. I'll say that much.
Ringside Reports, and you'll hear from Lionel and myself beginning now through the game's launch in March and after for the latest on DLC, patches, and other updates. And we're not gonna be taking this ride alone because we're bringing the homies from the dev team with us. So
come on, bring them on, bring them on.
But before we dive into that, let's kick it off with a very quick conversation about visuals, because let's be real, if y'all take a look at WWE 2K22, you might see some massive differences from previous cycles.
Yeah, no, Edge looks incredible in this right out of the gate.
Oh, it's pretty. It's so pretty.
Lionel, can you talk about how the teams approach production differently this time around, starting with the superstars?
So the superstars, you know, in any WWE game are
right out of the gate, that's one thing I'll say is
right. And so we have to make sure,
like right out of the gate, not to interrupt too much of this, but the visuals on this right out of the gate are just incredible.
That we are doing our absolute best on representing every superstar to the best of our abilities. And in order for us to do that, we piggybacked on the same technology that you guys saw in NBA 2K. 22, where you look at their players and the details and just the likenesses look amazing. And
I can't stop gushing over how good this looks.
And brought that into WWE 2K22, like the cross polarization scans, improved hair. Just to me, the amazing amount of detail that you'll see in our superstars is unparalleled for us.
Yeah, and also the teams have overhauled.
I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much, but this looks really good, guys.
Engine as well.
Yeah, so lighting is everything, right? So like all of these details and everything that we poured into our superstars wouldn't mean anything if they weren't lit properly, right? And so if you take a look at this version of the game compared to any other year, like it looks like a broadcast. It looks photorealistic at times, and a lot of that is due to lighting.
Oh man, Cyber Sunday, I love it.
Before I forget, there was also a ton of new and improved championships.
Comment below and let me know what you think. What is the best looking title that WWE currently has? Not all time, but currently. For me, it's easily the United States Championship. What do you guys think?
As well, and one of my personal favorites, mainly because it's the team I work with most closely, is the Environments team. There are over 55 playable arenas, and we also have virtual crowd boards in the game as well.
Hey, they got the Thunderdome. Interesting.
Faces.
Oh yeah, not my ugly mug.
All right, we know what y'all been waiting for, so we have some folks in the waiting room. I'm gonna go ahead and invite all of them in. So, y'all, we're so excited today because y'all know who we got. Please welcome the gameplay leadership team, principal designer Jason Vandiver, senior designer Derek Donahue, and senior producer Jonathan Rivera. Yo,
Jason Vandiver has entered the metaverse. Apparently, he no longer has a physical body. He has become Electro. He has become pure energy.
I don't want to linger any longer because folks have been asking for gameplay for a very, very long time. Without further ado, the moment y'all been waiting for, we are going to show you a 1v1 match between Rey Mysterio and Damian Priest. So let's roll the footage.
So at this point, one of the things we very intentionally called out to our fan base is that we have a redesigned gameplay experience. And starting with Jason,
camera's closer than it used to be.
Can you talk about what that means to you and how gameplay hits different?
So one thing I'll say, just watching it, right out of the gate, the camera's much closer, which is, I mean, that's pretty cool. But also, I felt like the moves flowed a lot better than they used to.
Wwe 2K22, we have a completely new animation system. This system has allowed us to greatly improve the look and the feel of the characters. Basically, everything from the way the characters move and they traverse through the world to how they align with each other during attacks has been completely overhauled and redone. Players are going to notice a significant difference the moment they pick up the controller. The characters are way more responsive than they've ever been.
Stunned,
you no longer feel like you're fighting to control your character to get them into position to do what you want them to do. Strikes, dives, springboards, they all connect more precisely. And that's also something that we've really struggled with and took to heart and tried to resolve this year.
And that is greatly appreciated, because that is definitely true. I think anybody that's played these games in the past could tell you that moves sometimes were incredibly frustrating to do, because you really would have to struggle to get your character into position to do what you wanted to do. So I hope that that's actually true.
Another key change that we've made to the game engine this year is our physics system. While the series has always had Havoc to some degree, it's primarily used for only air and clock simulation. For 2K22, we've completely integrated Havoc into gameplay, which has allowed us to introduce things like breakable props. The kendo stick starts to fray the more you use it. Tables, they break more dynamically. The chair even breaks.
I like going back to the button
and even
mashing
elements
kick
within
out.
the environment itself are now.
Yeah, that table breakaway looked clean. I like that.
Instead of relying on a canned sequence animation. It's a really big change and has helped to make the entire gameplay experience feel more dynamic.
Nice.
Awesome. Derek, same question.
So for me, when we sat down to figure out how we were going to change gameplay for 2K22, one of the biggest things that we put as a priority was making sure the game is fun in a pick up and play kind of way. I want to be able to hand the controller to my friend who doesn't know anything about WWE, and I want them to still be able to have a good time and be able to just kind of hop in with me. So we made sure that with our controls redesign, all of the core actions are something you can discover just by button mashing. You should be able to basically play through a match without having known anything beforehand. But another big priority for us with that is making sure we're not.
One thing I will say for sure about that, I bet my fiance will greatly appreciate that. So like for the UFC games and stuff like that, for example, you can button mash, but you won't be as successful. You really have to know a lot of different sequences to be able to throw different combos and stuff like that. And that's another thing in the past, is you really have had to like go through the tutorial of these games to really understand how it works. Now, don't get me wrong, I hope they don't reward button mashing in like competitive play and stuff, but it is nice to know that somebody could pick up a controller and doesn't have to go through a long tutorial to know what they need to do.
Smoothing over a lot of the details that returning fans like. So all of the high level of control that you expect to have with your character, all of the high degree of customization you expect, all of that still remains.
Okay, so you've mentioned new controls and mechanics. Combat itself is centered around 3 inputs: light attacks, heavy attacks, and grapples. So in this cycle specifically, what do those terms mean?
So light attacks, those are your quick strikes, the fastest attacks in the game. Heavy attacks, those are kind of like strong strikes from previous years. They're bigger, slower strikes, but they deal more damage. And then finally, grapples, those are where some of the bigger changes come into play. So you press the grapple button once to lock up with your opponent, but then from there you can press light, you can press heavy. Those will do your light and heavy grapples, but there's all sorts of other options. Irish whips, drag, carry, all of those things come from the grapple state. So once you grapple your opponent, you have a lot of possibilities opened up to you.
Okay, and I want to toss this over to Jonathan too. So opening up these possibilities, can you talk about some of the combo options that players can dive into?
Yeah, sure. I love how simple and engaging our new dynamic combo system feels. I don't need to memorize every superstar's moveset, but instead I practice the timing of my inputs in order to execute combos. Light attacks allow me to branch into a combo, and when I learn that light, heavy grab executes that move, I can take that and apply it to anybody I play with. I love the exploration that our game provides to encourage the user to play with many different superstars and then choose whichever one is better suited for them. And if you don't like the combos that we assign, we also support customizing combos. I'm personally really excited to see what cool combos our community creates.
Okay, very quickly, I want to take it back to one point that Derek touched on earlier, which was about the accessibility of this game and being able to just pick it up and play. And I want to call this out mainly because I myself am a much newer player to WWE 2K. So for me, picking up and playing has been the whole experience. The controls are super easy to learn. And while my own habits fall back on button mashing the controller, even though we have that, I enjoy having to be very strategic and intentional about how I'm approaching this game, especially when it comes to the timing of things like reversals or finishers. So I can definitely attest to, hey, if you're feeling intimidated by
Okay, like that right there alone, that was really cool. You don't normally see counters like that in the WWE 2K game series. I'm really impressed with what we've seen so far. I know there's been talks about like the GM mode. I know there's going to be the Rey Mysterio showcase mode. And I mean, we just saw proof that the Kane Cyber Sunday match is going to be part of that. Supposedly the Eddie Guerrero WrestleMania 21 match, which was just incredible, is going to be part of this. So, I mean, the showcase mode alone sounds great. And the gameplay does look really smooth. Like I said, I love the button mashing for the kick out. The gameplay itself does look smooth. The graphics actually look great. This is definitely an improvement upon what we've seen in the past.
buy this, please don't. Pick it up, try it out. You'll have such a blast. But also, if you're a vet and you've been playing this for a long, long time, can y'all talk about how vets can better show off their moves and what that means for the overall strategy of their experience?
So a lot of the strategy for our game comes with the new defensive options that we've added this year. So one of the biggest examples is breakers. Instead of reversals being the only tool for countering your opponent's attacks, grapples and combos actually don't use reversals. Instead, you counter them with a breaker. So when you're doing a grapple or a combo on your opponent, they can counter that attack by pressing the same light, heavy, or grapple input against you. So those moves are countered with breakers. Everything else is countered with a reversal. So knowing what kind of attack you expect your opponent to perform can already prime you to know how you want to counter it. So there's already a mind game with that level.
Okay, so that's actually really cool. So I kind of like how it adds in that mindset of like, if you know your opponent's grappling you and they're going to go for a heavy attack, if you press A, you're breaking their attack rather than just pressing Y and timing it right. So that's really cool. Like he said, it kind of adds in like the mindset aspect of it. So that actually is really cool rather than just, you know, pressing Y or RT or RB or whatever. You actually can predict what your opponent's going to do and counter based off of that. That's interesting.
Then you have blocking, which is all new. If you hold down the reversal button, you enter a blocking stance, and that lets you withstand light, heavy, and running attacks. And then you can counterattack faster than your opponent can after blocking. You can also dodge with the right bumper. So you can kind of choose a direction and get out of the way really quickly if you time your dodge correctly, but it's higher risk than a block. And then when you're on the ground, you also can button mash to get up faster, or you can press right bumper to do a quick get up at the cost of some resource. So when you have all of those defensive options available to you, it makes when you're on defense, that's a lot more strategic, but also when you're on offense, you have to be careful with how you want to attack your opponent so that they don't counter you.
So our community has been speculating about the HUD and like guessing like what, you know, these little glowing meters mean and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Jonathan, I'm going to let you be the first to break this down and break the news. And let's dive into the HUD and give the community some clarity here.
So our goal was to create a HUD that strips down all unnecessary aspects and simply gives the user the information that they need without distracting the user from the in-game action. So at the very top, you'll have the vitality meter, and this is basically your health bar. Below that, you'll find a special meter, which is a resource you want to spend to perform signatures, paybacks, or defensive action. Finally, at the bottom is your finisher meter, where you can store up to 3 stocks.
Nice. Okay, cool.
So there's one thing that's missing that I think a lot of people are like, where's the reverse stock? Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit more about like, you know, the changes we made there?
Yeah, sure.
Really quickly, I would just like to point your attention to the star rating up at the top corner, 4.5 stars. Dave Meltzer would disagree with that. This is 2 stars at best. Needs Kenny Omega.
Yeah, obviously the biggest change that we made was removing the reversal stock from the HUD. We felt that 2K20's matches came down to how the users manage their reversal stock. We wanted to bring a bit more skill to a match by giving the users unlimited reversals, but making them a little bit more difficult to execute. In our internal matches with 2K22, we get wild swings and back and forth and a bunch of oh so close moments that we really feel make the match memorable. And in addition to that, we added a new stun meter that shows up on the characters.
Okay, yeah, so I noticed the stun meter, but one thing I want to say really quickly is, just from this gameplay little bit that we've seen alone, this is some of the most diverse movesets I feel like I've seen in a WWE game in a long time. Usually I feel like, unless you really study the combos, you are going to be doing the same clump of moves every single match with a character, whereas these guys have done so much in this little bit of clip we've seen. But let's hear more about this stunned meter.
When it's close to being filled. So we're really excited to show off our new HUD and for our users to play with all of the new additions and our streamlined approach.
Cool. Like one of the things that, you know, at the end of the match where I'm like, you know, in previous years or, you know, iterations, once you basically knew once your opponent didn't have any reversal stock, all you had to do was hit your Sega finisher, match was over. That's not the case anymore, right? Like someone can just pull out like a reversal and this back and forth. And so Derek, can you talk about how strategy is incorporated into that part of this new mechanic?
Yeah, so with reversals no longer being on a limit, that opens up a lot of possibilities for how your opponent can counter you, right? Like they could always pull a reversal out, or if you're using combos and grapples, they could hit you with a breaker. But the stun meter that Jonathan mentioned earlier, that's one of your biggest tools for making sure that you can pull off your biggest moves without getting countered. So lighter attacks, while they don't do as much damage to the vitality of the opponent, they're better at filling your opponent's stun. And if you can get their stun meter filled, that's your opportunity to perform an attack without the risk of getting a reversal or a breaker.
Button mashing is back, y'all. Like I love it. It creates a whole new level of like intensity in those tight matches. And yeah, like I got to practice my finger strength on that just so I can beat everyone down.
I will say, obviously, getting beaten by a button masher can be frustrating, but it is nice to hear that like the competitiveness is going to come back, because that's one thing I will say. Like, if you get control in like the older games and like they talked about the reversal stock, like it's pretty easy once somebody takes the advantage in a competitive match that match could very well be over with. Whenever I play with my friends, like pretty much whoever takes control early has the match won. So it's nice to know that this could be tight back and forth
when this game goes online.
Also, oh my God, Penny just farted and oh man, whew. 3, winner, Rey Mysterio.
All right, y'all. We can go on and on, but unfortunately we're out of time. So to close out.
All right, so I know the video's not over, but that's the main thing that I wanted to go over. I hope you all appreciate what I'm doing for you right now, because I feel like I'm in a gas chamber. Penny is trying to kill me. That is 100% confirmed. I am looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know if you guys are. Let me know what you think down below. I can't wait for it to come out. When it does, you can expect some gameplay videos coming to the channel. I might do the whole showcase mode for the channel, but I definitely plan on doing that going forward. But what do you guys think? Does the game look good to you? Are you impressed? Are you still skeptical? Let me know what you know below. Let me know what you think below, I should say. Let me know what you guys want to see going forward, and I look forward to playing this game in the future and seeing you guys soon. So take care. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. You will also be able to catch me on me and my friends group channel, The Pack. So I will provide the link down below. Make sure you guys subscribe to that. My buddy Brian and the legendary Drew Blazer, for people who don't know him as that and know me from school, Drew Muckway. AEW Dynamite, so that'll be happening tonight. I have a gameplay series on there with Drew right now. We have tons of other content coming soon, so please be sure to give that channel a subscribe, comment on their videos, like, everything like that. But I will see you guys soon. Have a great day.